What if I told you 3 men once vanished from America's most secure prison, and no one knows if they lived or died? This is the story of Alcatraz, the Rock, a fortress built to be inescapable, surrounded by freezing waters and deadly currents. For decades, it was believed no one could ever break free. But in 1962, 3 inmates decided to prove the world wrong. Before we dive into their daring plan, make sure you hit that subscribe button. In the heart of San Francisco Bay lies Alcatraz Island, a cold, desolate rock in the frigid waters. It had long been known as the place where even hope comes to die. The island held a reputation more terrifying than any death sentence, for this was where the United States government sent its most dangerous criminals, men who had defied the law and challenged society. Here, amidst the crashing waves and haunting seagulls, there was only one rule: do not enter unless you plan to stay forever. It was within the bleak confines of Alcatraz that 3 extraordinary men orchestrated the most audacious prison escape in American history. Their names were Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin. And their story was a testament to the indomitable spirit of man, the relentless pursuit of freedom, and the lengths one would go to outwit the most secure prison in the world. But before we delve into their story, let's take a closer look at the island itself. Alcatraz had always been a symbol of despair, its imposing structure standing like a silent sentinel against the turbulent waters of the bay. Built from the limestone and granite, the fortress seemed impenetrable, its thick walls echoing with the footsteps of countless prisoners who had come before. The chilly winds that swept across the island carried tales of hopelessness and despair, a grim reminder of the fate that awaited those who dared to challenge the system. The cold currents swirling around the island were not just unforgiving, but deadly. The icy grip of the water threatened to drag anyone who ventured too close down into its depths, never to be seen again. Escape by swimming was not just perilous, it was almost impossible. Yet these daunting challenges only fueled the determination of our 3 protagonists. Frank Morris was a man of quiet intensity, his intelligence shining through his reserved demeanor. With an IQ placing him in the top 2% of the population, Morris possessed a sharp mind that had both fascinated and frightened those who had crossed his path. His criminal record was a testament to his cunning and resourcefulness, showcasing a man who had navigated the treacherous world of crime with a skill that was both impressive and unsettling. As the story begins, Morris found himself at Alcatraz, his keen intellect making him a formidable presence among the hardened criminals. His skill set, honed by a life of crime, would later play a pivotal role in the audacious escape plan. Beside him were John and Clarence Anglin, brothers from rural Georgia. Their bond was unbreakable, their shared history forging a connection that went beyond blood. These men grew up in the heart of America's South, their lives taking shape in the warm embrace of family and community. It was here, far from the cold walls of Alcatraz, that they developed the skills that would later aid them in their desperate bid for freedom. John and Clarence were more than just brothers. They were partners in crime, sharing a childhood filled with mischief and adventure. It was in these early years that they learned the art of deception, the thrill of outsmarting authority, and the importance of camaraderie. These skills would prove invaluable when they found themselves behind the cold bars of Alcatraz. The brothers were known for their gentle nature and their skill as craftsmen. It was this reputation that earned them the respect and admiration of fellow inmates. Their ability to create something beautiful from the simplest of materials became a symbol of hope in a place where hope had long since faded away. They arrived at Alcatraz as skilled escape artists, having already attempted and successfully executed several prison breaks in their younger years. Their track record spoke of audacious plans and daring feats, establishing them as men who refused to be confined by the limitations others set for them. Fate had dealt them a harsh hand, leading them to the notorious prison on the Rock. But they faced their fate with a mixture of courage and resolve that hinted at the monumental escape that lay ahead. These men from different walks of life found common ground in their desire for freedom and their disdain for the restrictions imposed on them by society. Bound together by their circumstances, they formed an alliance that would become the cornerstone of their daring plan. Despite the grim reputation of Alcatraz, Frank, John, and Clarence refused to be cowed. They understood the gravity of their situation, but they also knew that they possessed the skills and determination to outsmart the system that had imprisoned them. Their plan was nothing short of audacious, a testament to the power of human determination and the lengths one would go to reclaim their freedom. As the cold San Francisco winds whipped around them, they began their preparations in the shadows of the imposing prison walls. It all started with observation. Day in and day out, they studied the prison routines, the guard patrols, and the daily schedules. They watched the prison clocks, meticulously noting the precise times. They observed the weather patterns, the tides, and the wind conditions, gathering data that would later form the backbone of their escape plan. They observed the prison guards, their movements, their habits, and their blind spots, creating a mental map of the prison's security measures. They studied the cells, the ventilation shafts, and the very structure of the prison, searching for any weakness that could be exploited. With their observations complete, they moved on to the next phase of their plan, crafting the tools they would need for their daring escape. These men, denied basic tools in their prison cells, became masters of improvisation. They fashioned tools from everyday items, transforming ordinary objects into instruments of escape. Toothpaste tubes were turned into shims, allowing them to open up small spaces. Pencil lead was sharpened to needle-like points, used to make holes in restricted areas. They crafted makeshift chisels from combs and fashioned hammers from pieces of metal scavenged from their surroundings. As the tools were created, they were hidden away, each piece becoming a silent accomplice in their plan. Patience was the watchword as they waited for the perfect moment to put their plan into action. They knew the risks involved, the dire consequences of being caught. Yet they also knew that now or never. Finally, the day arrived. As dawn broke over Alcatraz, the three men rose with the sun, their faces etched with determination. They had chosen a night when a storm was brewing, hoping the inclement weather would divert the attention of the guards. With the first rays of sunlight, they began to execute their plan. Working in near silence, they shimmied open the ventilation shafts, the narrow space offering them a glimpse of freedom just out of reach. One by one, they slipped through the shafts, their bodies small and wiry, perfect for such an endeavor. As they emerged on the other side, they were met with the sight that had been their beacon of hope throughout their ordeal, the open sea stretching out before them. With the heavy rain pouring down and the wind howling around them, they waded into the icy waters of San Francisco Bay. The cold shock of the water seemed to invigorate them, the pain lending a sense of urgency to their movements. They swam with the strength born of desperation, each stroke taking them farther away from the island and closer to freedom. Behind them, the Alcatraz prison stood as a silhouette against the stormy sky, a grim reminder of the life they had left behind. The churning waters of the bay tested their endurance as they battled against the strong currents, determined to pull them back into the darkness of the prison. With every stroke, they fought for their very survival, their muscles aching, their lungs burning, but their resolve unwavering. As the minutes turned into hours, they began to lose feeling in their limbs, the icy water threatening to sap their strength. Yet they pressed on, driven by the dream of freedom and the promise of a new life. Just when their hope began to dwindle, they saw it, the welcoming lights of the mainland shimmering in the distance. With renewed determination, they swam towards the light, their bodies battered, their spirits unbroken. And then, as if in a scene from a movie, they disappeared into the fog, leaving behind them the legend of the great escape from Alcatraz. Did they live, or did they die? We may never know, but their story will forever be a testament to the indomitable spirit of man.